last game for our game previews, and then we'll make our underdog picks. USC and Nebraska. This is really fascinating to me for a number of reasons. Trojans favored by 6.5 points on the road. This is definitely a playoff eliminator for both of these teams. And you have a couple of really interesting trends coming to a head. So you have Matt Rule, who has a really bad career record against ranked opponents. And then you have Lincoln Riley, who has a really bad record on the road against Power 5 teams. Something's got to give. Sure. And it's a prime opportunity for both of these teams to reset some narratives, to change the direction of their program, and for them to take that full step forward. Nebraska, I put in my midseason college football playoff bracket because of the path, because of the schedule. And then what do? They get blown out by Minnesota. USC has a tougher path because they still have Oregon on their schedule.
Yep.
But if they went out, they're definitely going to be in, I think, and they would have a win over Oregon, right? Which would be a big one. But it's all about where these programs are and where they can go. I talked to Matt Rule this week, and he was telling me that it feels great to be heading into November with a potential path to the college football playoff. Like, they talk about it. They have talked about all of it. Like, it's been a motivator. And he said, like, last year and the year before, they were heading into November trying to get their 6th win to be bowl eligible and break that long streak. They got their 6th win last week and didn't even mention it in the post game in the locker room because that's not what the goal was. Like, they didn't need to celebrate. They did celebrate it last year because it was a big deal. It was an important step in the process, but that's not where they are now. And they've had ups, they've had downs. The Minnesota game was just like so inexplicable and like crazy to just have such a disaster in kind of all areas in that game. But I think that they've learned how to win close games. They've done 3 one-score games that they've won. And they have figured out some ways to work around their warts enough to put themselves in position to win games against like teams, which I feel like this is. And then USC, I mean, we've talked about them over the last few weeks. Like, love that offense, love what it looks like. Jaden Mayava has been awesome. Mekhi Lemon, maybe the most valuable individual receiver in the country. So it's going to be really interesting. And Joshua, I know you and I've talked about this all week. Like, for as much as we're going to talk about the quarterbacks and everyone's going to want to watch this game for the quarterbacks, like, it's really about which team is going to run the ball better and which team can stop the other team from running the ball.
No doubt. Before we get into that part of the breakdown, you were talking about, the Lincoln Riley on the road against Power 4, and then Matt Rule against ranked opponents. I think this is also one of those narrative games in the sense that Nebraska, if you're going to be a playoff team, you got to be a team like USC in terms of talent profile. And USC, if we want to take you seriously, you got to go into the Midwest and things might be a little cold and a little bit windy. You got them big boys up front and you got to be able to come in and play your game with a team like that. So very excited in terms of what this means in the big picture in terms of how we view the program. Now, you mentioned that most people looking at this, they're like Jaden Mayava and that offense for USC and Dylan Raiola, the young superstar, looks like Patrick Mahomes. It's the run game for me. Yeah. Lincoln Riley's offenses are always best when they run the football well, right? And so I think that they're going to want to establish a run. And oh, by the way, Nebraska's run defense has not been very good this year. And so there will be some opportunities there on the ground. You flip it over to Nebraska, and I'm watching the game tape, and I hadn't watched a ton of them throughout the year. Emmett Johnson, their really running back, oh my gosh. I mean, the way he runs his feet, he's got good patience. He doesn't need a lot of space to break into a hole. He's physical enough. He catches the ball in the backfield and he can hit you a home run, right? Like he is the type of running back that you want to have as a part of your offense. And when I look at their pass game, I say that Emmett Johnson's a guy who helps their O-line in the run game. Dylan Raiola is a quarterback who hurts their offense, their offensive line in the throw game, because of the way he likes to extend plays. He wants to evade the pocket over the top instead of stepping up. And guys can fall into sacks when he does that. He just holds the ball too long sometimes. You try to make sense of the game against Minnesota. Part of the problem was that Dylan Raiola was just trying to do too much back there with the football. By the way, the receivers don't get open very well down the field. That's a different conversation. It's going to be an intriguing game because I think it literally is about whoever can run the football. It feels like an old football cliche, but the team that runs the ball the way that they want to is the team that's going to be successful.
Yep, I agree. And also, I think I haven't checked the forecast today, but I do think you're right that it's going to be cold and windy. Very Big Ten football for the USC Trojans, which is part of the deal, part of the vibe.